Hey guys, welcome to Asking Ashley, and this is episode 14 of Asking Ashley. Without further ado, let's get into this week's submissions. The subject is called Making the First Move. Hey girl, hey. So I've been talking to this guy for a month, and we recently met for our second in-person date. I want to take it slow and get to know him, which I told him. Though I think he's thinking I want to take the pace of molasses.
Come on, Maggie. Come on.
On our second date, I felt the vibe and I thought we may have our first kiss, but I could tell the boundary that I set scared him and he didn't want to do anything to cross that line. This leads me to the conclusion that I have to make the first move. I'm just wondering how to do this because I'm awkward like insecure and I need to find my moment. Please let me know how to make the first move, any tips and tricks of the trade to make it smooth AF. I tend to stumble and be awkward, so I'm trying to avoid that. Ha 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 ha. Oh, this is the cutest dilemma ever. So, first of all, I'm glad to hear that you've set a boundary and that your partner in this endeavor is completely for it and following your lead. I don't want you to make it feel like a chore, like this is a line you now have to cross on your own, because this should be something fun, something you're looking forward to, like you were saying, when you're feeling the vibe, just so you can feel closer to this person. So my first suggestion would be to do it as soon as you get to the date. That can kind of set the tone for whatever activity you guys are about to do, that a little affection is okay. So maybe when you first meet him, give him a hug and maybe initiate a kiss right at the beginning so that subsequently throughout the day, it's not as strange or awkward. Simple as that. So if you are not so comfortable with having that kind of greeting at first things first, I could also suggest that based on where you are located for your next date, or even if you're at a bar, you can at least face each other so that your knees are touching or your legs are touching, just so you kind of have that feeling of closeness. You can initiate with some light physical touches to start with. Nothing too aggressive, you guys aren't on a football team together or anything. Just some light touches here and there while he's telling a story or while you're trying to make a point, kick his leg lightly, accidentally, and touch his knee when you're, saying how exasperated you are about work or how much you love something and get really excited. Those light touches lets him know. Once you kind of do that a few times, I think he kind of knows that, like, okay, this is something that's okay between us. So that's more of like a middle of date situation.
No.
Towards the end of the date, I find that if nothing intimate has taken place at the beginning or the middle of the date, people can start to feel a little bit of pressure towards the end. Like, oh my goodness, I really like this person and I want to let them know how much I like them by some show of intimacy or maybe some words, just in case my words or my actions haven't come across as open as I would like them to during the date. But I find that pressure at the end of the date just kind of kills some people into doing something awkward that they're not so sure that they wanted to do or they didn't want to go down like that. So I personally don't typically suggest if forcing something, the first thing that comes to mind at the end of the day. If you're not a really smooth person. But if you initiated some intimacy at the beginning and some intimacy at the middle of the date, towards the end, it's not so much of a
surprise.
Or you don't have that feeling like,
I'm gonna have to spring this on them.
Before you exit the restaurant, if you know that this is something you want to do, I would excuse yourself to the restroom, make sure there's nothing in your teeth, making sure that shrimp scampi didn't leave a little more garlic on your breath than you expected. You know, just do a little maintenance to make sure that when it's showtime, you are ready to roll. Okay, so you're both outside the restaurant, you have a moment, you're both waiting for your ride share, or you both parked on opposite sides of the streets. So before you go, just initiate some light conversation.
Hey, I really enjoyed our night together tonight. I was a bit nervous to start out, and I wasn't expecting to have such a good time. I'd really look forward to being able to see you again. What do you think? Okay. Pause.
This is, while they are giving you their response, this is where you can initiate some intermediate eye contact. Remember, I said intermediate.
I did not say prolonged.
For example, imagine they're giving you their response. Prolonged eye contact is unending. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. Okay. So intermediate eye contact is you see that? Intermediate. We are not having a staring contest and you're not openly staring at this person's mouth. Intermediate eye contact, look in their eyes, look at their face, look away, smile a little bit, nod, be engaged. This is much more flirtatious than just pure, unadulterated eye contact. Trust me, if you do that and they don't initiate a kiss, then they probably did not want to kiss you. First, and initiate some intimacy at the beginning. Second, middle intimacy. You're sitting next to each other. Your legs are touching. You're kicking their leg lightly. You can do some intermediate eye contact during the date as well while you're talking and getting to know one another. Third, at the end of the date, where you're having that closing conversation, you're about to leave, and that's when you can do a little more intermediate eye contact. So I think these are really easy, simple ways to initiate some ba-ba-boom between you and another person. And remember, you're on this date to meet someone and you're excited to have a good time. Don't put so much pressure on performance. Because then, if you're so focused on your own personal performance on the date, you're gonna lose out on really getting to know this person. And that's gonna be kind of a waste of your time because you're so in your own head that you're not even really comparing to see if this person is a good match for you. So that's my advice. Good luck and thank you for sending in your submission. Okay, so the subject of our next submission is called Establishing an Effective Workout Routine. The message reads, "Hey Ashley, I want to start off by saying I love your videos." Thank you. Here's my current dilemma. SOS. Okay, let's get into it. All right. I've been an athlete in some way, shape, or form since I was 5 years old. I've played soccer in college at a Division I level. For so many years, I was accustomed to having multiple workouts per day with a coach who explicitly told me when and where I had to be and what workout was going to be done for that day. Now, I'm 3 years out of college and I haven't developed a consistent exercise routine. I find myself clueless in open gyms and resort to group fitness classes. But since the panorama, I've stopped going to classes. I have a couple apps including yoga and HIIT on my phone, but I find it challenging to remain consistent. I feel like my motivation also fluctuates as well. Because of that, I get discouraged and I don't meet my goals and it takes me a while to get back into it. I'm not in the same shape I was before, but my goal is just to improve my overall fitness and improve my health. Any thoughts on how to stay disciplined, consistent, and hold myself accountable? So I'm so glad you sent in this submission because I think a lot of people can relate to this. My first suggestion for you would be to get back into those classes.
Oh God!
The first online platform that comes to mind, and this video is not sponsored, is something along the lines of a Peloton bike, where it's so interactive that you feel you're very involved in what's going on in the class. So if that's in your budget, I would do a Peloton bike. And also, one hack that I've seen people do if they can't necessarily afford the Peloton bike is to just get any kind of iPad situation or tablet and have a regular exercise bike, but they get the Peloton app on their device so that they don't have to, if they can't afford the bike, they can still have the Peloton, you know, scenario situation set up, but with a regular exercise bike, which I think is totally possible. So I would look into online platforms as well. Okay, and if the online platforms really aren't your thing, I would suggest getting into intramural sports. I don't know if this is what it's called outside of college, because I haven't really done sports outside of college myself, but any sort of adult sports teams that you can get back into. Now, in order to hold yourself accountable, you have to know what your motivators are. So for example, some people are motivated by money. I might be one of them. So they purchase a gym membership, and that investment is always in the back of their head. So they're always going to go to that gym class because in the back of their head, they're like, I'm spending money, I'm spending money. Okay, so if your motivator is extroverted activities, spending time with people, being accountable to other people, that is why programs and group sports, which I'm kind of thinking might be your thing, might be what can help you to be accountable. That relationship to other people who are counting on you to show up in order to make something happen. I would lean into what your motivators are in order to make yourself not just accountable in working out, but accountable in healthy eating and living.
Maybe you need an accountability partner. And not all accountability partners are made alike, unfortunately. Some people seek an accountability partner who is just as bad at keeping track of themselves as you might be. And that is a recipe for disaster. I think it's best to seek an accountability partner who is where you want to be or better.
Check out what's going on online, see if there's anything you're compatible with a more stable option than necessarily just going to a gym and group classes there. Second, try getting into intramural sports. It's something that you did before, and you can get back into it again. It's all is not lost just because you've graduated from college. And third, find your motivator. Whatever motivates you will help you to maintain your health, not just physical, but also dietary. That's it for this week's submissions. If you like the video, make sure to like and subscribe, or if you have a dilemma you'd like me to respond to, head over to askingashley.com to submit your story, and I'll respond to it here on my show. More importantly, if you don't really like the advice that I'm putting out, be sure to comment down below of what you would do in those situations, or any advice that you have for our submissions to help them out. And be sure to take care and take care of each other. Bye.